You are listening to the Unapologetic Podcast, starring the actual and factual Kimberly Smith and Sir Goodwin Live, weekly podcast based around Black culture, current events, entertainment, best friend series, Black love series, and controversial and informative topics shows featuring special guests. Subscribe, listen, and follow on all podcasts and social media platforms.
And we are live on this great Sunday morning special feature, special episode that we are excited to be having. I am Sir Goodwin Live, and joined by the actual and factual Kim Smith. How are you this morning?
Blessed, black, and highly favored.
Blessed, black, and highly favored. We are joined by Chicago royalty, the queen of Chicago radio, Miss JenBT. How are you this morning?
I'm good. I'm so honored and blessed to be on this show, and we're live.
Yes.
And we're live on IG for my first time ever.
So excited. We tell everybody that first time live IG, you're going to be amazed when you start reading your comments later. Everybody is so excited. She's here for the first time. People, come on in.
Please do. I'm so happy to be here.
And thank you for making the trip today.
Are you kidding? In beautiful Hyde Park? Oh,
thank you.
In my feelings. So nostalgic because I don't get up to Hyde Park that much these days. And I'm just driving through, weaving through just the beautiful neighborhood, beautiful buildings.
Are you north of the city or?
I'm north, and I even moved more north.
Oh,
crazy.
Okay.
I know. So, but back in the day, I used to take piano lessons, like way on the east side. So we would take Lakeshore Drive, weave through, Martin Luther King Drive and everything, all the way to the east side of Chicago. So
nice.
Like, I'm so glad to be up here.
Shout out Hyde Park.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, we are definitely glad to have you, and as we've been talking before the show, just hearing your voice, it's like, wow, I hear that voice almost every morning.
Every day.
And it's such a radio voice, and it's like, wow.
Get out.
It draws in the people. No, it draws in the people. I agree.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
That voice is excellent. I can't wait. I have some words that I want you to say that I love that you say.
That I say?
on the radio.
Oh,
So we'll do that in a minute. So JenBT is with us today. Where can we follow you on social media?
I am JenBT. That's it. IG, Twitter. I need to get up a Facebook though. I still got my personal Facebook page. And all of us that had Facebook since college.
Right.
I'm a little apprehensive to have people on my personal because your whole life, right, is on there. So I gotta get up a Facebook page. Maybe you guys can give me some tips on what to do on Facebook. But yeah, I am JenBT, Twitter, and IG. That's where I do all my stuff. Yeah.
Great. And so we listen to you every morning, Monday through Friday on the Ed Lover Morning Show.
Yes.
And you start, it seems like you start a little bit before 6, right?
I did. But as you know, with the pandemic happening, radio listenership has changed drastically. Yeah. People aren't getting up. There's no rush hour really anymore.
Right.
So because people are getting up later, we really had to adjust with how people are living their lives. So now we start our show at 6 in the morning. I used to do a bit called Guess the Cheeseman, like in the 5 o'clock hour.
That was one of my words.
Cheeseman?
Cheeseman?
Yeah. That means gossip, Spanish. We all love some good. Yes, and what I learned from the Black culture is tea.
Right.
Yes. So now I think I'm like, look at me like using words because I have a fabulous Krista. She's our super producer. She's always like, give me the tea. I was like, we'll give you the cheesemaker. And then we go back and forth with our cultures. And so that was fun to do. But yeah, once listenership we saw dropping in the 5 o'clock hour, the 6 o'clock hour, we're like, you know what? We kind of got to adjust what we do. And I would do a giveaway. I would give away a prize every day.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes. And just with the only people in the Prudential, we broadcast our show from the Prudential building.
Oh, I know exactly where that is.
Right.
Yeah.
And so the only people in the building are only a few morning shows. I think us and B96.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And no promotions department. So really no need to do a giveaway. There was no one to kind of help with that, and it just didn't. It felt tone deaf.
Yeah.
Right. Like there's so much going on in this city, in this world. It's like we can't do a giveaway. Let's just be real and talk to the people and just connect and see what's on everybody's mind. So I say all that to say, drop the chisme bit, and pretty much, we just kick it starting at 6 in the morning and just catch a vibe. Yeah.
Okay. Are y'all officially back in studio, or are you still at home?
We are in the studio. Me personally, and Krista, because she runs our board.
Oh, okay.
She physically has to be there every day, Monday through Friday.
Got
and I didn't want to not work in the studio.
Oh, okay.
I kind of feel like if I'm at home, I feel disconnected and distracted.
Yeah.
I got little kids and a husband. I didn't feel like I could really be a part of the show. And so it was important for me to be in the studio every day.
Got it.
It really was. So we're in there. Ed Lover, he has his home in Atlanta. He also had an apartment in downtown Chicago. But because of the lockdown, it didn't make sense for him to still be here. So he had to make that tough decision to go home, and he broadcasts live every day from his closet in Atlanta.
Oh, wow. Okay. Make it work.
Technology, right?
Yeah,
you
beautiful.
can really broadcast anywhere, which is great. So, luckily we can connect with him Monday through Friday in Atlanta, and me and Krista are in the studio in Chicago.
Oh, beautiful.
So that's what we do every day.
How did you get connected with the job at 104.3?
That's a really, really good question. It's a little bit of everything, of magic,
Okay.
speaking to God and the universe,
Yes.
the power of word, and really saying what's from the heart and why you think you really deserve this job or why you want it. And then just good people having your back. So for me personally, it was weird how that whole storm came together. And I have a very dear friend, we don't connect every day, but she just randomly DM'd me one day. And at the time I was starting to look at jobs in radio. I got out of radio once I had kids. And I started getting that itch when 104.3 Jams came on the scene because I never heard anything like it. It was just all the music we grew up to and just people texting. You never saw anybody organically be like, yo, this station, turn it up, And by happenstance, I even had a party and we had on Alexa and it wasn't hitting it for the vibe. And so I was like, I actually have a radio. So I took out the radio, plugged it in, and we listened to jams, and it's like, God, I gotta know who runs the station, what company, and it just, I don't know, I just got hungry, like for the game again. And so as I was just kind of looking into things, by happenstance, she did middays at B96 for a long time, and I knew her at 103.5 Kiss FM. She did middays there. Shout out to Nikki, DJ Nikki, and she DM'd me and she's like, hey, would you ever get back into radio? Like, how does that happen?
Right.
And I was like, yeah, if the right opportunity came along, I would love to. And she told me they were looking for a show co-host, and when they were describing the type of person they wanted, she's like, holy crap, that's JenBT. I'm in color. And back in the day, I was pretty loud and crazy and sassy. I kind of toned down once the kids came along, but they're like, we want someone kind of, just sassy. It'd be great if she was bilingual. It would be great if she was actually born and raised from Chicago. She loves hip hop. It'd be great to have a mom. Because the station is kind of for the ladies. It's for us.
It really
at the end of the day, even though the music, we all love it, but they really wanted it to be a happy place for those of us that really wanted to think of the good times, the good old days. And I was like, oh my God, I would love to connect me with the program director. And I had a few conversations, and instead of just putting in a cover letter and a resume, and I worked a long time on resume, but my cover letter just really was just so passionate. I think I spent 2 hours in the middle of the night just writing
beautiful. Okay.
how much the station meant to me, how much the music means to me, and it's just the soundtracks in my life, and it would just make my whole life, my whole dreams come true if you really do me the honor of letting me be a part of the show. And this was before I knew Ed Lover was going to be the host. So I was just a piece of that puzzle they were trying to put together.
Okay.
Beautiful.
So yeah.
You hit the check mark on all of those that they were looking for. That
just
was
kind
great.
of timing of being the right person and the fact that I was in radio for almost 11 years prior to that, and I worked in every facet of radio, except the one thing that I really wanted to do was be a part of a morning show.
Got it.
It was just so hard to break that door, and I think I was just perceived as a certain person, right within that. And I think just working with one company was really doing me a disservice at the time, and so I just realized, maybe not be so dedicated to just one company when it comes to media, because you really get put into like, oh, she just does this.
So it's like a box.
Put in a box, basically. Right. Yeah. So I was like, you know what? I'm not making that dream happen anymore. I'm not happy. I need to move on and find the next best thing. And Mama needs to make a living.
What was your career path? You said 11 years in radio. What was that career path before Jams?
Right. I always loved radio growing up. I don't know about you guys, but in my car, it was just always on, going to school in the morning, going home. And so I really, I went to University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign. And then I realized I got a journalism degree. I really loved writing. I loved writing. I was pretty good at it. But once I got my degree, I was like, I don't want to write about serious stuff. Or I don't want to work for a news station. I want to talk about fun stuff. Like, what's a job that I have to deal with? Talk about fun stuff and music and parties. And I went to a career fair, and a radio station was there that I listened to. It was 103.5 Kiss FM. It's still on the air. And they had a boom box. It was a party. And I saw these all these people in radio t-shirts. I was like, I want to work there. I want to work there.
Like, no, this one right here.
Yeah, and I got an internship. And I don't know, I must have made an impact because I ended up staying, and there was a night jock at the time on KISS. His name was Mac at Night, and another guy named Radio Boy who was his intern. He's like, you are fun and crazy, come on the night show. And I would just, kick it and just be on the night show. And other than that, I really didn't know how to get into the on-air aspect, but I worked with iHeart, through that whole career. First I was a sales assistant, and then I really wanted to be where the studios were, so then I became a programming assistant, and then an assistant program director. So it was great to know the behind the scenes aspect and how the sausage was made,
Right.
So that's how I got into it, and just worked on the back end of radio for many, many, many years.
Okay, well, that's good. So U of I, and we have high school, St. Scholastica.
Yeah, all girls school on the north side. Where did you guys go to high school?
Well, I'm actually not from here, so I'm actually born and raised in Carbondale, Illinois.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so the only difference is unfortunately we didn't have radio down there. We don't have.
SIU didn't have the radio?
SIU, unfortunately, like they never could keep a budget for radio, so it was very sporadic. So like, especially for our culture or whatever. You would get radio every 5, maybe 6 years, and then the station would fold, and then the only thing that was ever constant was 105.5, and they of course played like your top 40 or whatever like that. So we technically as a culture down there didn't have radio. I turned into a radio head actually when I moved up here.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So what you all had, St. Louis radio or
So St. Louis radio unfortunately would not, a lot of the times it wouldn't hit in Carbondale. So that's why I said if you ask, and we very, very, and then like I said, once I got in college at SIU, then it was a budget. So then we had a radio station for a little while, but by the time I graduated, it was already gone. So we've never had anything consistent down there.
Gotcha. Just more of a stronger signal from somewhere else.
Exactly.
So they only had one high school in college.
We all started in grade school. So we started in grade school, and we all went to school together all the way up until senior year of high school.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's something to be said for that.
Yeah, we love it. Oh, 100%. I've had people in my lab 30 plus years because of that. Yeah.
So U of I, we had St. Scholastica, all girls. Was that considered Rogers Park?
Yeah, that was in Rogers Park.
Park.
And my mom made me go there.
I know what I said. When I said you was like St. Scholastica, like.
I ended up loving it. It was a blessing in disguise. It really was, because I was really shocked. And we went to grammar school together. Yes, I haven't seen you since you were just a baby.
Right. That's how long it's been. I've been following you for all these years, but we
Yeah.
never connected.
And you always
face to
stick
face.
out because I know we hung out kind of in grammar school.
In grade school.
Yeah,
I was only there
always
for
connect.
your 8th grade year was my 7th grade year. I was only there for 7th and 8th grade.
Right.
So,
Oh, y'all went to junior high together.
yeah, well, it's K through 8. So we don't
Oh,
consider
y'all.
in Chicago ain't no junior high.
Oh,
It's
well, sorry,
it's
excuse
just-
us. We had junior
Right.
high. We had junior high.
It's just grade school.
Oh, it's just grade school.
Grade
Okay.
school,
Right.
Okay. I'm gonna let y'all have that.
Yeah,
Right.
we have our little moment. Yes.
Right, and so when I listened to you, it's like wow, because you were so shy and
I was
quiet,
shy.
and
I
so
was
for you to be
quiet.
this,
I
big
know.
personality,
A
I
lot
was
of
like
people
wow.
from our grammar school, LaSalle, said that. And so it's funny because, you get your report cards or, the teachers come in, they're like, she's so shy. And, she doesn't really participate. My parents are like, crazy? Like, crazy? Doesn't talk? A little crazy? And they're like, crazy. And they put me in English as a second language in 2nd grade because I didn't talk. Because they were like, so they
So they didn't think you knew?
stereotype me.
Oh.
And I'm English dominant. Speaker. I know. They're like, we sent her here to get her Spanish together. Not because she doesn't know English. Like, what is wrong with this school?
Okay.
So, yeah, so I didn't realize, I think our school, it was so good in a lot of respects. But in some respects, there were so many personalities. Like, I feel like we were the cream of the crop, not to like toot our own
Yeah, we
horn.
were.
Oh,
We
wow.
were smart kids. You had to test in to get to our
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See,
Oh, yeah.
y'all in that testing in is really different up here.
And I think that pressure and everybody had big personalities.
Uh-huh.
That it just crumbled me.
Oh.
I didn't, it did not allow for my self-esteem to blossom.
Mm-hmm.
But the moment I got to Scholastica, it was a very small all-girls school. You
Okay.
could do anything. You could do track. You want to do basketball? Do basketball. You want to be in a play?
Mm-hmm.
And I just, the crazy came out, and I
Wow.
took advantage of everything. Like, who knew I'd be like, I don't know, like a captain of a cross-country team. I think if I ended up getting into the Whitney Young, I would have still been that shy girl. I think it was just too big and too overwhelming and too many talented people vying for the same stuff.
Yeah.
So that small girl opportunity really allowed me to find myself and
Nice.
not have the boy issue.
Well, right.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Right.
Okay. So it's
Okay.
a Catholic school?
It's a Catholic school.
Oh, okay. Got it. All right.
I don't think it's there anymore. Is it?
No, it's a charter school now.
Okay, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Jennifer Berry, LaSalle, small, shy personality, was not thinking radio
Was
at
not-
the time.
You know what? Maybe I was. Maybe
Okay.
I was because we were exposed to a lot of media personalities
Yes.
because a lot of their kids went to our school.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Robin
Okay.
Robinson on Fox News.
Oh,
Her
yeah.
kids went to our school.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she would speak at Career Day.
Yes.
And a few other video people, their kids went there, and I'm like, oh my God, it's like she's beautiful. She would sign we would ask her for autographs in the
Yes.
in the school.
Really? Okay.
Playground, and I was like, oh, my family personally, like all of our local radio talent or news talent that we see on local news, we worship them. Like if I
got
saw
it.
Walter Jacobson
Yes.
at Taste of Chicago, my family was like, oh my God, there goes Walter.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Right.
There goes Robin Robinson. We got to ask for her autograph.
Yeah.
So I grew up really worshiping local talent. I didn't have cable, so I would watch the news. I would watch local programming, and I loved radio. So, and I did like to perform. I just think, LaSalle, it just never came out. But I think a part of me always had that itch to do something performance driven.
Got it.
Okay.
That makes any sense.
Yeah,
I always
absolutely.
innately felt that there was some higher power for me to do that. I
Okay.
just didn't know when, but something always pulled me in that direction. Yeah.
Nice.
Now, I always thought you were kind of black.
Yeah.
Back then, I mean, we know that you were definitely mixed with something, but
I didn't even know.
You
Yeah, I had no idea of race back in the day. I don't think I had an idea of race until college because it was so segregated.
Yep.
I had no idea. And I think because my mom's best friends were black women.
Oh, right.
So,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, so growing up with their families growing up, and also you went to the YMCA too. I think that's how we knew each other.
Absolutely.
So there was a Y right by Cabrini Green.
Oh,
And
got it.
I
Okay.
would go there ever since, God, like I was 4. My mom was a single working mother.
Okay.
And but my parents were really good friends, and that was like our community hub. So I would do summer camp every year, and God, I was always at the Y. And I think, majority of my friends growing up, if I think of my friends, like you think when you're like a kindergartner and the friends you choose, I'm thinking most of my friends that I chose at a young age were Black women.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. And then I don't know why. Maybe I didn't realize it then, but I was always pretty exposed to the Black culture without really knowing it. I remember going, because when I worked at iHeart, GCI was there, V103, and I remember they had a big soul food setup, and me not even thinking, I'm like, oh, there's collard greens.
Who are you? Who raised you?
Yeah. And then like some songs, which obviously we were exposed to, and I think our school did a really good job.
Yes.
Teaching things outside of an everyday school. Like we had Martin Luther King Day.
Right.
Oh wow, yeah.
We had strong Black teachers. We had strong Latina teachers.
Right.
We had a diverse school.
Right, we did. It was a great experience coming from an all-Black school, which was right across North Avenue. When I transferred to LaSalle, it was a culture shock, but everybody was friendly. Race wasn't. It wasn't an issue.
Did you feel that? Race didn't feel like.
I did. There was only one thing at LaSalle that was racial that I didn't know till later. They used to always talk about my lips. They say you had some big ass lips. And I'm like, but coming from my old school, I didn't know that I had big lips because everybody else had big ass lips too.
Yeah,
so that was the only thing. And I didn't realize that till later. But for them, we was a language academy, so we had Spanish and French and German and Italian.
Okay.
So we were learning languages. We did shows with. Celebrate all those cultures. So it was a great time, and no race there.
Yeah, and I had a friend, Naja. I don't know if you remember Naja. She was at LaSalle.
Yes.
And we became really close in 7th and 8th grade, and her brother, Akil, was a DJ.
Oh, wow.
And and all her siblings were older, so they would sneak us in these hip-hop clubs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What are some of the clubs? Nitro?
I don't even know their names.
Oh, okay.
But I remember going in, and it was just, and not thinking, like, I'm just the only white person there. Like, I didn't think about that, but it would just be the whole Black community and just good hip-hop music. And me and Nasha were just there to dance and listen to music.
Right.
And her family was just great. And so I didn't realize, like, through her, I was really exposed to hip-hop and music and culture. And her siblings sneak us into these clubs.
Right.
And it was just
beautiful.
Great. And then U of I was like, oh my God, I gotta pick a race.
College is very segregated. I agree. I was more like y'all. In Carbondale, we went to school with everybody. There was and again, since we were very different, since we all started literally in kindergarten together, like nobody, I never looked at my friend Angie was like, oh, she's white. It's like, no, that's Angie. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so then when I got to college, it was the same thing. It was a bit of a shock because like when I walked in, it's just like, there's not a mix of anybody. Like you're hanging at the Black place, or you're hanging at the bar at the white place.
Right.
Yeah.
And I struggled with that my freshman year, and I think my ignorance to race like really put a friction into me and my friend Naja's relationship. Because a lot of people, and we were really tight friends, and a lot of people were just like, I noticed you only hang out with white people, and so her wanting to, like, I really want to, be a part of the Black community, and me being jealous of that, and being like that doesn't matter, like, why do you gotta do all that, or there was this row, us coming into minority students, I do appreciate that they had support for us, especially with school. I don't think I realized I was a little behind. College was it was a struggle for me, so I appreciate those resources that they had for us. But they had La Casa, which is a place for the Latino community to come and your support and to feel like you have a group of people. And there was also the Black House, and the Black House had spoken word night.
Oh wow!
Yes.
Okay. Oh,
so another
spoken word.
So a lot of people like, why do you know this? And why do you know about libation?
Yes.
Like, what do you know about the peach cobbler? What do you know about hot sauce and fries?
Yes.
And then people were like, I was like, well, Naja will take me to the Black House.
Yeah.
Yes. And then that was the first time where I cringed, because I would hear about, it was the first time hearing about, things that we hear today about white privilege and, white this, white that. And when you're a biracial person, because I'm half Mexican and half white, even though my mom raised me and I always felt more strongly associated to my Mexican side or minorities in general, to be honest, I felt very comfortable with Black and brown people, even though I don't look it. And I never thought I didn't look like that, which is funny. And then you would hear the first time, like, why this or that? You're like, ooh. I'm like, are people looking at me funny? Should I be here? Should I be listening to this? And it made me, for the first time, feel a certain way. Like, oh my God, like, am I being judged for my skin color? Am I accepted? My whole world exploded in my head because of race issues. And so, like we talked about picking a race, I found myself gravitating towards Latinos.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so that was my whole world, was just the Hispanic culture at that point. And I think it really affected me to this day, where I think the majority of my friends are of Hispanic descent because of that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's
so that is a lot to say, but it's crazy when you grow up in a community so diverse, and at some point you're just like damn.
Yeah, like I didn't know behind the scenes. Yeah, I get that.
Behind the scenes. Yeah.
And that's important. How do you plan to raise your children? How old are your children?
My children are 6 and 3.
Oh wow.
And you're right. Another decision I made that I was like, I didn't know how that it would affect me, but it does affect me. Because I dated people of all races, and to me, I was like funny guys. I'm like, if you're funny, you got me. And I met this guy in radio. His name's Nick. He's Italian. And I think our cultural clashes really do affect us, because I didn't realize how different we were. So I do, my husband's Italian. I'm Mexican. My dad's Irish. And my kids look white.
Yeah.
They're white men. And I'm like, I remember a day saying, like, I am raising white men. Like, oh my God, thank you. I'm raising white men. And so to me, it's important to raise my white boys in Chicago. I want them to have diverse friends. I have books. We talk a lot about race issues. I really don't want them to grow up in a bubble. I think my husband and his family did. I was like, how do you not know about this? Or how don't you think this is a problem? The things that are affecting our society today with race riots. And I felt like I never got through to him. Like a lot of white people growing up in affluent bubbles, how does that affect me? Or I don't understand. And I'm like, well, now you see it. Okay. And this is why you can't turn away from this. And you need to do better. We need to do better. And we need to raise our kids to do better too. And understand that privilege. But also, you can't just be friends with a certain race. That's not okay. Like, you need people from all different cultures. And so because of that, I was like, I'm not moving to the suburbs. I'm staying in the city. I love the city.
Oh, wow.
And he's like, that's right. He's like, I love it. And he even says, I love all your friends, and you've exposed me to so much. Your culture and all the people in your life are so exciting. So it's definitely something I'm in tune to. So yeah.
Did y'all meet in college?
We met at a radio station.
Wow. So is he in radio?
He works in TV now.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah, he schedules commercials.
Oh, nice.
For TV, for WCIU, the U.
Oh, yeah. I know you.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's what he does.
You all seem like you have so much fun. You and Nick. I see you all on Twitter, and you all have a lot of fun together.
We have a lot of fun. We do have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Lord knows marriage is a struggle. And it has been trying, but I think we reached a point where we both realized we want to be better people for each other and for our family. And so we're doing that work on ourselves, through therapy and family therapy. It was big for me, I think, because I grew up from a broken family. I'm like, I don't want that for myself. And so I feel like I didn't know what it's like to be a wife, because I grew up in a single household with just a mom. So I was like, I feel like I'm struggling. I need something, or even parenting skills. So we did a lot of work, but it helps that he is hilarious, because he just cracks me up. We play jokes on each other and tricks, and we like to have fun on Twitter together.
Oh,
so
good.
Yeah.
Well, how does he feel about being known as Mr. BT?
He loves it. He loves it. He does. He loves it a lot. He's so humble, and I think that's one of the things that drew me to him, was that he's just a very humble, loving soul that would always have my back. So yeah, he wants the best for me.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. I do want to go back because I know radio is so foreign to a lot of people. Like they hear you, they see you, and everybody always thinks, how did she get there? Like how did this, you know, unfold? And I know that we talked about, you know, you going to U of I, you going to the job fair and things like that, but like what are the different positions that you have, like the program assistant, the head program assistant? How did you get into those roles, and what was your day-to-day task? What were you physically doing in the radio stations?
That's a good point. I think if you asked a lot of people in radio that question, they would all say that I didn't say no to anything.
Oh, okay.
Anything and everything I said yes to. So in my internship, I think they allowed me to stay, even though I was way past my internship deadline.
Okay.
But it was because I did every job assignment.
Okay.
They knew if they could call me, be like, hey, we're sure. And my internship was in promotions. I think a lot of people get their start in promotions.
So you mean promoting for the radio station?
For the radio station.
Okay.
So what that means is, like, let's say, you know, pre-pandemic, we were at, I don't know, let's say you were at the Taste of Chicago. You see a booth, you know, with your favorite radio station. You see people in t-shirts, and we're handing out free stuff. And we're like, hey, come over, you know.
Okay.
So we're just part of that promotions team. Just any event being part of the party. And so I would just sign myself up for everything. I would just make it a point. But I think I loved it so much, and when people see you love something so much, they push your back. And I just wanted to be there all the time. Like, I loved it. I loved it. And so I was just there the majority of the time, and you get to know people, right?
Right.
But I did need a job, so I think because I was there all the time, you know, people let you know, hey, this position's up, you should go for it. And it was a sales assistant position, which meant you know, you supported your account executives that are out there selling radio.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Right, and so that was my first job, but then also I would still come back sometimes, but not always, so I had to drop it off, like, to the night show, because I really loved working with Mac at night at the time on Kiss FM. He was so great. And so I think I did a good job as a sales assistant.